Proclaimed today that Boston is less than the sum of its parts. Now, we love Boston. What we mean is there is a lot of cool stuff going on in Boston, but the regulations, out-of-date outlook, and power structure are holding our city back from being the best it can be. We have spent the last year talking to Bostonians, and everyone has stories about the system being rigged for the connected. From liquor license to permits, we've heard people complain about transportation, the state of the taxis, the lack of venues, late-night dining, 24-hour gyms, and cultural spaces and events. We don't want our city to be a place that would ban moshing or tell Nike what kind of shirts they can put in their windows. We have all seen how the absence of collaboration, dialogue, and the presence of public personal animosity has had a chilling effect on the cultural and entrepreneurial life of the city. Well, no longer. The FutureBoston Alliance has arrived. We are a group of people who have come together to build on the already amazing grassroots movement underway to change Boston for the better. We want to help bring Boston into the 21st century, create an open city where there is no monopoly of ideas or access. A city where people say yes more than no. Boston can and should be one of the premier cities globally for entrepreneurship, cultural activity, innovation, and fun. But if we don't level the playing field, tweak some rules and regulations, and foster a new openness, we will never stem the brain drain of post-college and 30-somethings leaving Boston, or prevent exciting businesses from relocating, like Facebook did. FutureBoston will push cooperation, dialogue, new ways of thinking, and will come together to advocate for change, from cutting red tape to bureaucracy. We will support new businesses and events. We will voice our opinions on issues such as transit improvements and how to ensure that there is a vibrant cultural life that serves everyone. We need to attract, keep, and foster talent and improve the quality of life for all. And if we don't, we will lose out to other cities that do. FutureBoston rejects the idea that if you are critical of Boston, then leave. That speaks to an old-school defensiveness that we don't have. We just want to push our city because we believe wholeheartedly Boston can once again be a city that inspires the world. But we can't do it without your help. Join the FutureBoston Alliance.
Future of Boston is ours if you want it.
Oh my gosh. Gonna take a pause. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the show. I have Malia, who made a grand entrance during our opening video. I love this video. I played this before when I thought you were coming on.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, let me share the video and talk about FutureBoston.
Yes. My favorite thing to talk about.
Then I show you opening. I think you had a party for the first, kickoff or something.
Yes, did it have a dancing cookie in it?
Yeah, and I saw Greg. I'm like, what has he been on? He's like having too much fun.
Yes, yes.
So this looked really fun. There were a lot of people, I think it was at the office, I don't know where it was, and people were saying why this is so great. So
oh yes, that was our open house.
Yeah, so that was really fun. Was that your office?
Yeah, well, it's the Karmaloop.
Okay.
It's the Karmaloop office.
Oh, okay.
But now that's actually their photography and television studio now.
Cool.
So it was like this big open room, and we were like, space, let's do a party.
That's a nice set. So it's great. So I'm glad you finally made it. We both sort of rushed through the city trying to make it over to the sweat.
I know. The
so
minute I got your text, I was like, okay, she's good. I'm heading over.
Oh my God. It's, perfect. So we are live and people are watching. You guys can call if you want to ask questions about FutureBoston.
Yes.
You're here. So it's great to have you on the show.
It's so awesome to see you.
I know. It's been so long. This is how we get to catch up. I tell people, watch your TV if you haven't seen me in a while.
Exactly.
That's the best way to do it.
Well, you look amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, and congratulations on this show.
You look like you haven't aged at all.
And you don't either. So let's just call each other every day.
Still in our 20s. Are you still in your 20s?
I mean, we have to be. If you're still in your 20s, then I'm still in my 20s.
Yeah, it's insane. But it's great because all the work you're doing, it's so relevant. I think I had the idea of having you on during the mayor's campaign. Mm-hmm. And of course, after the result, I don't know how you feel, if you recovered from the result that we have.
Well, we were so excited. I mean, as people can see from the video, and you can go to futureboston.com and get a lot more information, we want a dialogue about moving this city forward, which does not mean, a benevolent leader that does what Greg and Malia say, right? So who becomes mayor is very important to us, but not as important as how they become mayor. And, so with 12 candidates, I mean, we were just so excited. I mean, a lot of people were like, oh, people should drop out and they should. Listen, we haven't had an election in 20 years.
That's true.
Let everyone run.
Put their hat in the ring.
Well, I mean,
go for it.
This is the birthplace of democracy, at least as I was taught it. And, and I go down and I see these, big statues and moments done to our democracy. And so, why not? It was an exciting time. I think for us, the tenor of the debate has become a little worrisome, and in seeing, it's almost like the only thing we know how to do is you're either with me or against me.
Right.
It's like that's the only way we know how to do culture in Boston.
But I think the finals, it's almost like, I don't know, yes, I was born by that time. So 30 years ago, apparently, Mel King ran. He was like the first to run, and I think people thought they were going to make history, because we had so many choices and most were qualified to at least have one person of color in the final two. And so right now it's sort of like, as great as everyone was, it was great to have everybody there, but not to even have one person.
Yes. And and that's where I think like we really need to like have a different dialogue, right? Because if you look at how we elect people, right, which is the fault of how we count votes. Cambridge does it very different from Boston. And Cambridge has had,
and they have different results.
And they've had different results for a long time.
Yeah.
And and I definitely think that if someone from Cambridge can talk about some of the frustrations around an instant runoff voting and a more proportional system. But at the end of the day, we didn't have that. We also had 4 months. 4 months to go from 0 to 60. 4 months for what? I mean, I
raise money, prep time.
And we're talking 1.5 million, right? Like in a $500 increment. So this whole setup was not going to be beneficial for people who weren't already elected officials. And so for those people who were of color and who were elected officials, I think that they probably could have put, or I would have liked to have seen more of a race. But to blame, I think we want to be very careful in either blaming ourselves or being like, see, nothing changes, when nothing did change. The way Mayor Menino announced this,
that was
going to be sure that no one had time to actually run a decent race. So I think that that's the conversation that we're really trying to have with Future Boston, and really trying to like tell people like this has to be our start. Like if this is your start and finish, then I don't know what about change or liberty or electoral.
And I think that's what's great about Future Boston, because you sort of involved in everything that affects the city. Everything. So whether it's not just politics, but what's going on with, organization, nightlife, transportation, which is I don't know if those candidates are talking about. I mean, I know there's one person who's really into education, and then we have our union guy.
Exactly. It's like there's the one who cares about your kids, and then the one who cares about your pension. Or someone's pension.
Choose one.
Right.
So I think that, again, stuff like that, I think it sort of started the conversation. And I think the other part is that was interesting because who does it affect? The whole population is affected. I mean, we have a young people who, as I was reading Future Boston, in terms of who are part of our greatest asset here. We say it, but I don't really know how we actually make that happen when we're making those policy decisions, when things are going on that are affecting young people. Like one of the things that never came up during even though again it's the city, it's like the amount of debt our students are in terms of that age group. But no one talks about that. People talk about job creation and whatnot, but it's like that. There are certain things you talk about that affects like different people. I mean, everyone is in debt, but there are certain people who are just literally just drowning in it.
Right. And the college stuff for this town, right? I mean, that's a nice crossover local national issue that affects everyone. It's almost, sometimes I feel that it's almost as if we live in Boston as if it's a small town. So like we don't take on these like larger issues where when a huge chunk of the talent that you're trying to retain is coming out of college riddled with debt, and we're trying to retain them. How can we retain them
much.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
But I think that's where, I think Future Boston comes in terms where people can feel like they can do something versus
Yes.
like, oh my God, what's the point? I don't need to bother because it seemed like nothing is going to happen. And I know you guys sponsored some forums. Is there some more forum coming up?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there's a forum coming up on Thursday.
This week?
Yes, this week. With the candidates, with the at-large candidates. And so we have 8 now. We had 19, but we now have 8.
We are down to
great.
8.
You can see them up there. Oh, are they seeing that? Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you can see the 8 at-large city councilors, and it's going to be a forum at Northeastern.
Okay.
You can go to Future Boston's site to get that done. And that's our whole, I'm so proud of our site. One of the interesting things that we're doing, just on your point around, can you affect change, is first and foremost, I think we are putting the idea of what is the role of government in check. So when we came out and we did that video and we poked a little fun at Mayor Menino, it was political satire.
Yeah.
We actually don't think that Mayor Menino.
You think everybody got
it? Well, the mayor was a little upset.
Move closer to me.
Oh, okay. The mayor was a little upset about it.
Yeah.
But when he's willing to pretend that he's like the Godfather, right? I don't know how much
After
better
20 years.
Right. I don't know how much better a mafioso leader is than Putin, or they might be interchangeable, really. Just different demographics, right? But we said that because one of the things that we feel is so critical is that government works for us.
Right.
Government represents us. And so if we're scared of government, if we can't piss government off because then government's going to get mad at us, then we need to reject that notion. I don't care if it's, if it's your mother, right, up there, being the dictator. It's just not. It's not a way that you can function in a healthy democracy.
Right, as a democracy. So, but again, I think we say the right things, but it's not always applicable.
Right.
So
right.
we don't, we say it sounds great, just like we talk about education, it's a right.
Right.
We talk about everyone should have this, but it doesn't always happen across the board.
Exactly. And you have to, just saying it isn't enough.
Yeah.
Just saying it isn't enough. One of the things that we're doing is we have an accelerator program for artists.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And we teach artists how to, right there. Oh, yay. This is awesome. And we teach artists how to start businesses. And LivePlan, Palo Alto Software donates LivePlan Pro, which is like QuickBooks for business plans. Oh. And they literally will do 10 years of they're amazing. They give all of our artists that software so that they can build a business plan, and we put them in front of angel investors. As a matter of fact, one of our participants who won last year just got $1 million from Sean Fanning. One of our jewelry designers opened up her store and is now actually concerned about growth because she's selling so much and she wants to fix that. So that's another piece of what we do. And we also have been working with Councilor Presley and a couple of other city councilors around lifting the liquor license cap. So we at Future Boston, we actually try to not say very much, and we try to just do.
Action,
Exactly. And I think that what you see is that it doesn't actually take much to make change, but you do have to be willing to do it. And if you're not going to if you're not going to actually get out there and hold the space, it's not enough to just bring people together and then say okay, great piece, look at us, we did this one-off. But we've for over a year now we've been working with artists, bringing artists to the MFA, doing a Juneteenth takeover at the MFA. Oh my gosh, it was so amazing. One of the head curators from the MFA came up to me and she was like, we've never had this many Black people. Yeah, she was so excited. And we were like, oh, this is in Roxbury.
Like on the border, I guess.
Right, exactly. And that you can believe myths.
Yeah.
You can believe that Boston is a segregated place and therefore not go to places. You can believe that Boston is segregated, so you don't try to get a job here. You don't try to get. But the fact of the matter is that we've been half of the reinforcement of this stuff that we haven't liked because we bought into it, and we can just very easily decide that Boston.
People get frustrated and feel left out. I think we want to believe that we are one city and people have access to everything because guess what? It's there. So if you don't come to it, it's because you choose not to come.
Exactly.
Because you hear those things because it's like, you can come or not come, but we let people know. But it's amazing sometimes to see, let's say you do an event or another person do an event and who shows up. And it's not like you go out and say, okay, I'm going to find all my friends from this color,
right,
my friend from this, and, find them. It's like, it's amazing how, it just seemed to happen organically where people from different part of the city comes out versus another without even saying anything.
Exactly.
And so people think like there's a special way to sort of like
no.
get people to come out.
And it's like, no, you just invite everybody.
Right.
I mean, you saw our video.
Yeah.
And showed our video of our open house. There's another video of our party at Naga there, which is also very, we have a very diverse group of people who come to, who come to all of our stuff. And I think one of the reasons why is because Greg, who we're showing right now, and I, we are diverse in our, a majority of Greg's VPs and management are of color. And, and he has, one of the reasons why he wanted to start Future Boston was because retaining diverse talent is critically important to Carmeloop being successful, and so if he can't retain talent, then he needs to move his business somewhere else. And and he's from here.
Yeah.
He's from JP,
it's great.
and he
done
reps
from the start. Versus an afterthought. I think a lot of places it's an afterthought, or it's something that's done because they're trying. The motivation is very different from just wanting to get people engaged. And so, I'm hoping people from all ages will be interested. The forum is this Thursday.
Yes, the forum is this Thursday in Northeastern.
People can go on the website and get more information.
And if you go to events, actually. Oh, and this actually, if we could just talk about this local heroes for a second. So this is something that is really becoming quite touching for us. And it started off as, we wanted to start highlighting local people in Boston who are doing cool stuff. Like people, we're all heroes, right? Like it's not just all, the statues that you walk by or like the 3 leaders who have been anointed your leader. That what makes Boston tick and what makes Boston so amazing is that there's all of these people sort of doing their things. And the problem is that we're not greater than the sum of our parts, right? That's really the problem. And so this local hero section, which I ask everyone to just go to and read, we ask different people from around the city the same 4 or 5 questions. And so they're all answering the same questions around what they would like to see in Boston, what Boston could have, what Boston needs. And it's really becoming a very interesting narrative around what people in Boston are, what people in Boston are thinking.
So they can just go and recommend or post.
Exactly. Please recommend.
Okay. So that's great.
Shoot us an email and let us know.
Let them know. And so the website, the website is pretty engaging. People can get all kind of information.
Yes.
I'm hoping, depending on who else is involved, more people will come. You wouldn't believe, but we are like almost out of time. It's over. So I'm hoping we'll do a part 2.
Let's
maybe
do a part
after
2.
the election.
Yes.
Which is right around the
corner.
corner.
And talk about unity.
Yeah.
I guess my final word would be that it doesn't, whoever wins this race, what's the most important is that we in Boston feel more united. And, and let's get off this only one person can win thing. Because yes, there's only one candidate who can win. But if we can keep ourselves together and if we remember the tribes that we're all representing, we can actually win in this race no matter who wins.
Great. Thank you for being on the show. And Malia will come back and we'll talk more about Future Boston and more about politics. We'll see you next time.
Bye.